We just arrived at our harvest host, the Museum of Clean in Pocatello, Idaho.
Pocatello, yeah.
And we got a pretty good spot here.
Although I was a little concerned because there are already two rigs, one really big rig with a towable and then a Sprinter van. So luckily we could park in the place they didn't originally tell us to park, but we're good here. Steve backed it up like a champ.
It's a smaller parking lot than we thought it would be, but once we started maneuvering around, it was just fine. And I think we're close to Old Town or something. I don't know. We're going to go check it out, and we'll see. Hopefully it's fun. Just going through this random underpass, I guess it is. There's train tracks above us, and it's just really cool. It's got all these cool lights and cool painting, and it's super cool.
One of the most interesting, I guess is the right word, things about RVing is that I'm sitting here in a parking lot at the Museum of Clean. It's a harvest host, and I'm cooking a pizza. So I think a lot of people maybe don't understand that when you're in a rig, two of the best things, one is, look, I'm going to show you, but you can, that's my line. You can make your own pizza, or you can make your own food, so you don't have to necessarily go out to eat. And then secondly, you're always sleeping in your own bed. So that's one thing that Steve and I remarked on last night, that no matter where we are, in the middle of a museum in Pocatello, Idaho, we are sleeping in our own bed tonight in a random parking lot at the Museum of Clean, which we'll check out tomorrow. So just wanted you to get a picture of right now, my Friday night.
I just wanna dive into the blue. Doesn't really matter what we do. Don't let the moment pass us by. Just trust that the universe is right.
It's about how important clean is to us, right? The value of clean. Because what? We want to live in a clean house, right? You also want clean hair, clean clothes, clean teeth, clean sideburns, right? Yeah. And we want to have what? We want to have clean air to breathe, clean water to drink, clean food to eat. We want to have clean energy from the sun and the wind. And we want to have a clean conscience when we do the right thing, right? We want to speak nicely. That's clean language. And we want to have clean arteries in our bodies, okay? So anything clean is desirable. Anytime you add clean to something, you add value.
This is the good life. Oh, 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 oh. This is the good life. Oh, 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 oh. Out in the sunshine, nothing but good times. This is the good life. This is the good life. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. I just wanna spend every day with you. Happy with the little things we do. Just keep a smile, hold your head up high. I promise it works every time. 'Cause we struck gold in the shining light, and it's all gonna be alright.
If I could bribe this life with roses, I plant as many as my desires. Their thorn would bite and tear the thin cloth we wear to hide from judging eyes, and the roof would fall.
So we are actually at our first dump station. We normally only dump our tanks at campgrounds, but this is the first time we've actually stopped at a place to specifically dump. Now, this place does not have potable water. We wanted to fill our fresh water and dump our tanks, but we can't actually do that. So right now the black tank does not need to be emptied, so we're just gonna quickly empty out some of the gray tank. So in case you're unaware at this point, the gray tanks are for wastewater, which is basically from the sinks and the shower. So the kitchen sink, when we do dishes, water goes down into that tank. And then the other gray tank we have is from the bathroom, which is the sink in there and the shower in there. So since the black tanks don't need it and they're kind of a pain in the butt, the black tanks are your toilet water, your toilet sewage,
Your
so
toilet stuff.
your toilet stuff. So we don't need to dump that today. We're just going to do gray real quick.
Under the weight of fall and pulverize the walls, then rain would be.
So we just arrived at our harvest host. We're at the American West Heritage Center in Wellsville, Utah, and we have pretty epic views. There's supposed to be some pretty cool animals around here too, like farm animals, like cows and bison and stuff like that. So we're gonna go check that out. Jen, you have anything to
Yeah,
add?
we just got here, and it is probably the best view we've had. You can see it behind us, and we're trying to be where we can. I'm distracted by a notification.
Your phone's dinging.
Yeah, we're trying to get a really good view without blocking other people's view because we're the third rig to get here. And the only thing I have to consider, I've got my haven't washed hair and a little ponytail, and it's just going to be what it is. We're dry camping.
Nobody cares about your hair.
I care about my hair. And you're probably wondering, what's wrong with her hair? I'm sure that's on the top of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the kids are riding the bike, so we're going to go check out what's going on. But this is fantastic.
I haven't washed my hair today either.
You can never tell. It looks the same all the time.
And then we carry on, no force bugs me down. First a seed, then a rose from the leafy dregs on its heart. Slowly rise through time, space and life's barriers and firmament bound. It's bloom and fall, many forgot.
All right, so tonight we are staying at a beautiful Harvest Host. We stayed at a Harvest Host last night, and since we've been staying at so many Harvest Hosts, we figured we would tell you guys a little bit about Harvest Host and a little bit about dry camping. So, Jen, tell us.
Dry camping. So dry camping is newbies. We don't have a generator. I am way too cheap to buy one right now, and right now we're recording this. It is almost October, and I just don't think we need one. I think next summer we'll get one. But so, in other words, we have no electrical hookups, we have no sewer, and no water. So what that means for us is how we kind of alter our day-to-day is we don't take showers, which is why we're looking like this right now. I think if we conserve, we're trying to figure out how to conserve more water. So we don't use a lot of water. We do everything we need to do, but we're trying not to wash dishes. We're trying not to just waste a lot of water.
So just to clarify, we do have lights and other electric things that run off of battery. Well, I just wanted to clarify. We do have a battery, so we still have many modern conveniences. We just don't have air conditioning, and we don't have a microwave. As far as water, we have a freshwater tank. I believe it's 60 gallons, and we can use that while we're not hooked up to a hose, which is where we're hooked up to when we're at campgrounds. And as far as sewage, that works kind of the same as our tanks fill up. It's just that we don't have a dump hooked up to the RV so that we can dump whenever we want to. We have to let it stay in the tanks, and then when we're ready, we need to go to a dump station or to another campground to do that.
Back to electric. So as Steve said, we have lights. We don't have plugs. And so we don't have the microwave. Those are in the air conditioning. So the three things that Steve just mentioned. Air conditioning, we've got the windows open. It's beautiful out. We don't need to worry about that. It was hot last night though. It was 70 something when we were going to bed. It was pretty toasty, but now it's beautiful. No worries. So air conditioning's the one we don't have when we are dry camping. To the microwave, which is no big deal. It's just last night I was going to microwave some broccoli. Couldn't do it. That's okay. I pivoted, did something else. So microwave's not a big deal. And also we usually do a Keurig in the morning, and we can't do that because we also don't have plugs.
So we do a pour over, or you can do a French press, because your stove still works off of, I forgot to mention, you have propane.
Yeah, so you still have stove, you still have oven, you have everything you need to cook. We drove Blackstone/stove tonight with other things, so plenty of opportunities to cook. I think the coffee thing was we had to figure it out because we're like, we need coffee in the morning, we're not messing around.
We switched positions. My arm was getting tired.
So
I'm holding it with my arm.
One last thing to mention is that when, you can see the rig in the background, when we dry camp, we also, I think I said, we don't have plugs, so therefore we can't plug in our laptops and our Bix wireless. So we can either run off a hotspot for as long as our battery will charge, or we can charge on the way, but ultimately we don't have battery, and Steve has a really old computer that pretty much needs to stay charged. So there's a little bit of a downside. We will figure it out. He'll get a new computer, and we'll get maybe an inverter.
You can get an inverter, or you can get a generator, and then you'll be able to use your plugs.
Yeah, so we'll do that eventually, but right now we're just kind of doing what we can.
So I also want to talk about Harvest Hosts. Harvest Host is awesome. It's a program that's like $60, $70, $80, something like that a year, and it gives you access to tons of wineries and farms and museums. And basically, you can go there and you can set up for the night. They encourage you to shop. Like if it's a museum, they want you to go into the museum. If it's a winery, they want you to go in and maybe buy a bottle of wine or something.
Not a problem. So, for example,
but besides that, it's free, and they don't have hookups.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes
they usually don't have hookups,
right.
But sometimes you can pay for electric.
We haven't found one that has sewer. Sometimes they have fresh water. But like for example, tonight they ask like it is, if you stay here, you get a $20 donation to the American West Heritage Center, which is no big deal, right? And the Museum of Clean, which we did last night, we just paid entry fee, which was $20 total for us, and it was well worth it because you're usually paying $50. We are paying $50 to $55 a night for a campground, so it's still reduced, and
the experiences are just fantastic. I would pay to come to the experiences.
You said fantastic.
They're fantastic. I'm excited. I'm excited. They're awesome. The views tonight are the best views we've had since we've been on this journey.
Right. So even so when we went to Museum of Clean, we went into the museum today, but it's actually in a parking lot. So you're staying in a parking lot. So the venue is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But the experience of going into the Museum of Clean and talking to Brad, the museum director, and the guy who started it all, not Brad,
Don Aslett, yeah.
Aslett. And so that is an experience that I will stay in a parking lot for. Whereas we've got this, we can't go into the museum because we got here too late, but we have gorgeous views.
The venue is awesome. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'd say the most convenient way that we utilize the way that we utilize Harvest Hosts, and it's a very convenient way to utilize them, is when you have a long trip to your next destination, and let's just say it's like a 10-hour drive, and you don't want to drive 10 hours straight in one day, and you also don't want to just stop at a campground halfway and just for one night. So Harvest Host is the perfect opportunity to stop, rest for a night, and hang out, have an experience, and then get back on the road.
Because when we were hustling and going from Florida back to Alabama, we paid $55 for a night, and then we're there, we sleep, and we leave. And so we're trying to figure out how, when we go from Utah or New Mexico back to Raleigh, North Carolina, how many Harvest Hosts that we can use, because we're going to be trying to go a little faster. But your arm's getting tired, my dear.
Yeah. Well, it's just cool because it's like, it's not only a way to save money, but it's also like awesome. So.
And I don't always save money. Let me be completely transparent here, because we went to the Silver Knot Farm, and I ended up paying like $25 for electric, which is amazing. They had it. I truly appreciated that. But I bought wine, I bought like a marinade, I bought like a little book. So I ended up paying $60. But that's what I would probably be paying anyway. I'd be buying a bottle of wine and be buying this somewhere else. So I'd rather shop local, as they say, and support
It's
the
kind,
harvest
it's kind of
roasters.
up to you. I mean, if you go to a winery and you just want to buy a glass of wine or whatever, that would probably be fine too.
Yeah, I mean they're not requiring you to,
Yeah.
except for tonight. It was $20. That bison, you got to show them this bison. There's like a bison that feels like it's in our backyard right now.
I'll show them.
Okay, that's it.
All right. We are just getting ready to leave our Harvest Host, and this place was awesome. I highly recommend it. If you are a Harvest Host member, it is called American West Heritage Center, and the views are epic. These are the best views I think that we've had so far, and definitely come here and check it out.
They are amazing views. I mean, I think Steve said epic about 20 times.
Epic, very epic.
And yeah, it's gorgeous. This is unbeatable. So if you haven't been here, try to get here. Right now we're alone. Everyone has left, and it's 11:30. We're about to hitch up. We ran out of power, so we're trying to recharge before we can hitch. There's our kids yelling. But what a beautiful Harvest Host, and you need to come.